So I'm here with 4 massive parts of the Scarlet squad for this from this season and next. Joe, Jacoby, Jake and George. Great season, first season for you guys. If I could start with you, George, I mean, what are your main reflections really? I mean, some highs and lows with Europe and then reaching the top 4. Can you sort of reflect back on the season to date?
We probably learned a lot of hard lessons in Europe, how rugby is supposed to be played, and we reflected on that, and it helped us in the domestic league, especially with development and being more physical, because that's what European rugby demands of you. So hopefully we can improve on Europe going into next season, and it will probably give us a better chance in the domestic league to maybe go to the finals and win the cup.
Joe, what's been your reflections really in terms of the Rabid direction, the Celtic League, obviously getting to a semi-final, knowing what it takes then to get to a final? How important is that for this group?
Yeah, no, I think it's really important for this bunch of guys. You know, they haven't reached it in the last couple of years. And I mean, like you said, there's been a lot of highs and lows. We put double over teams like Glasgow, Munster. We've had some really good wins over the year. And I think towards the end of the season, we really hit our stride nicely, you know, as a pack of forwards, especially forwards and backs coming together. I think the whole team in general, you know, we had a slip up against Treviso, but I think in the last 12 games we really showed what we were made of, and I think the people can be excited for next year. You know, we're really disappointed with the semi-final, but that's going to drive us forward. You know, and like Georgie said, the Heineken Cup for us wasn't a great part of the year, but that is something to look forward to. We can only improve in that. You know, and as far as the Rubber go, we're happy with what we did, and we'll work on it next season.
In terms of your partnership particularly, because a lot has been said about the sort of the concentration on forwards play, and that's changed the Scarlets slightly in terms of its consistency and its ability to get quality ball to our back division. You know, coming into your first season, do you really feel like you've settled now as a pack and you've kind of really taken things forward, particularly in the sort of last part of the season?
Yeah, it's probably going to take a little bit longer to settle as a pack, especially to be dominant as a pack. You got to buy into what you want to achieve and how you want to dominate opponents, and especially with the talent and young guys coming through, I think you can really achieve that, especially with experienced guys maybe teaching them, showing them different techniques and showing them the ropes, and that's got to be the main focus. It's got to be a buy-in from every single player on the field who's going to be determined enough to improve every game.
And Jake, for you, you know, obviously a massive opportunity first off. What's been your kind of highlights, I suppose, of the season? What have you taken from this season so far?
I think, you know, just being able to come here and play for the Scarlets, you know, it's been a massive deal for me. Sort of really helped me, you know, boost my career really. I think some highlights, one of them definitely for me was Munster away and being able to beat them. You know, I haven't beaten them in 5 years, I think it was. So, you know, that was a massive deal. And I think just building a platform from this year and just go forward next year.
And Jacoby, the same question to you. In terms of the season, you came here having played a lot of rugby. Are you looking forward to having like a proper pre-season with us now in the build-up to next year as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's probably been my longest season that I've ever played, about a year and a half or so on. But coming from a different union to the Scarlet, it was a massive honour and a privilege for me to join such a professional club, and yeah, just relished every moment and been enjoying it so far. And
what about the welcome here in terms of supporters and how you see this rugby community?
No, definitely. The people here is very passionate about their rugby, as you can see, and as players we just appreciate it and try every weekend to put our best foot forward and really make them proud of the team and play in such a fashion that they could relate with the team, if I can say it like that.
And looking ahead to next season, what do you think the target should be for this team? How far can it go? And there's a lot of commitment, there's a lot of determination within the squad. You can see it in all the performances. You know, is it that far off in terms of reaching those, you know, the levels that we want to in Europe?
No, definitely. I think by reaching the semi-final, these guys already talked about it, just made us as a squad more hungry to perform, and I think that's the next step for us, to get into that Europe and to be really serious contenders, because at the end of the day you want to give yourself an opportunity to compete for some silverware, and we did it with a Rubber, and yeah, we need to get into that position again that you can win some silverware for the club.
Did the Celtic League, was it a surprise to you about the intensity of it in terms of like the latter stages, and or was it, what your reflections on on the Celtic League as it stands with Rabo Direct?
No, definitely. I think there's 12 of the best teams in the northern hemisphere in there. I think there's no easy games, and each team goes out to prove something. So yeah, for me, coming from the southern hemisphere, the intensity is right up there, and it's been tough all the way through. But as I said, we've enjoyed it and released every moment.
I was going to ask you all the same question, if you don't mind. What do you think? You've had a season with us. What does it mean to be a Scarlet, George?
Actually, when I spoke to a guy like Terry Davies, I met him on Friday, and he showed me a letter that he wrote of what it means to him to be a Scarlet or Llanelli rugby player, and it actually put it in perspective that sometimes we don't respect that tradition too much, and especially with performances where we let ourselves down, we let other people as well. We let them down in a way that they can't explain and we can't explain. So it just shows that this town is especially about rugby, what traditions it carries, and the way we can move forward is to cherish those traditions and the culture that they can share with us.
Has that been important for you, Joe, joining that, understanding that heritage, knowing what it means to the players that have come before and the jersey that's been worn? Does it really strike you when you come here?
I think it does, I think when you come here first you're a bit flustered and everything goes, but like Georgie said, if you meet some of all the players, you don't realise you're part of a bigger thing. Whether you play one game for the Scarlets or you play 300, you'll always be remembered as a Scarlet. You go down in the history books as a Scarlet, And it's basically up to you how the people's going to remember you, You make your own stamp in the game, but you also impact a lot of people. And I think it's a big part of rugby that people don't always realise, It's about more than the game. They always say it's about more than the game, and a lot of times you just focus on the game. But it's it's the community, it's the jersey, it's that badge you play for, And you can never get bigger than that. There's hundreds of people, thousands that played before you, and there's thousands that's going to play after you. It's about leaving your little part in that long line, And I think every player wants to do that as best as possible.
Jake, you're living locally.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get stopped now in the supermarket and
Yeah,
in town
definitely.
and people giving their opinions, I presume?
No, I do, yeah. I'm living in Trimsaran now,
Right.
so I've bought a house there, so I really do feel part of the community now, so I feel quite settled. But yeah, in terms of playing for the Scarlets, it's a massive honour, and every time I put on the shirt, I'll give 110%. So.
Jacoby, can you teach me some Afrikaans words that would sum up Scarlet's way of rugby?
Probably the word is quite similar to English. It's passie, which means passion. I think that's the word probably that describes the Scarlets best for me, is to fight to the end, till the last minute, from the first minute. And that's the thing I've really enjoyed about the club, where maybe not always the talented side on the field, but if we walk onto the field, they know it's 80 minutes, it's either us or them. And I think in a way we proved that this year, and hopefully we can take that forward for next year.
So what can the supporters who buy into season memberships for next season expect from you for next season?
Just an improvement on last season. You can reflect on what you did last season, and usually you reflect on negatives and to transfer those negatives into positives. That will be a great challenge for us, and just settling in nicely into a team environment and actually helping that team develop a winning culture. I think that's the most important thing.
Same for you, Joe?
Yeah, like Georgie said, I think everybody is going to give 100% for the jersey. I think it hurt a lot falling out in the semis this year, and I think as a team we decided, we'll give it all in next year. People need to know, we're not going to try and disappoint them. Every weekend we go out there, we're going to give it everything. We need the support of the fans. It's how the club goes, and it's how we bring in a lot of stuff. So I think from each of us, we know we're going to give everything. There's going to be a lot of competition for the jersey. There's going to be a lot of people coming in, a lot going out. So I think for the people out there, they're going to know we're going to give everything we can possibly.
Okay, well thank you all. I know our supporters will want to say it to you for what you've done so far this season. We really look forward to watching you in action next season as well.
Good.
Cheers.